You want to do the intro?
No, you do it.
Why do I got to do
I
the
don't even
intro?
know what the intro is. What's the intro?
I'll make the intro right
Go
now.
ahead.
We'll just come up with it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the SBP, the Stephen Browning's podcast. Not the experience, the podcast. I'm Stevie Browning. That's my dad, Steve.
The old man.
The old man. And, all right, first things first. WU.
Best thing about WU was we had box seats. Mike Dalton hooked us up. We were in the box seats and eating and living it up, and the team was started out really well, but just struggled as the game went on. Second, third quarter, that dominated.
It was defense, though. It wasn't. You can't say they
They
struggled.
couldn't tackle.
They marched.
Offensively, they moved the ball.
They marched down the field.
I think Daniels had well over 300 yards passing, but they couldn't tackle.
How many yards did we give up? Scotty?
Rushing about 200. I think they had about 200 yards rushing. Kansas did.
Oh boy.
And pretty close. I think each quarterback had three touchdowns.
My thing is, you can't lose to Kansas.
You can't, and really, I'm not sure that Pitt was as good as what Pitt was.
No.
You're 0-2, and really.
Pitt won their second game, didn't they? Who did?
No, they got beat. Tennessee beat them.
Tennessee beat them.
Yeah, Tennessee was 24. Pitt was 17, and at Pitt, and Pitt got beat. It was a good ball game, but Pitt got beat. Tight.
But anyway,
No, this
you can't
game-
lose to Kansas, regardless of who you played first. Kansas is usually the worst Power 5 team in the whole country.
Well, if not worse, you're generally the worst in the Big 12. You got Vanderbilt's Power 5. They're always bad.
So I think Vanderbilt would beat Kansas consistently.
I don't think so.
What?
Vanderbilt? They're one of the worst Power 5s in the
Duke. Duke's had a couple
Duke's
years.
had some good years. No, Duke's not. Power 5. It's Vanderbilt. What about
A Big Ten. It's got to be a Big Ten team that's trash.
well, not really anymore. Illinois and Indiana are playing better, and Rutgers wasn't real good there. Northwestern's pretty good now.
Rutgers is terrible.
Yeah,
Are they good now?
No, but they'll play better than that. You go out to the Pac-12 or whatever it is now, the Pac-16 or
Yeah.
whatever number we got. I think Kansas and Vanderbilt might be the two worst in there. This guy's going to check
He
that
doesn't
out.
have-
He's going to stack that for us.
He
But
still
anyway,
doesn't have the passing stats.
You
for it.
gave
I
it
got the passing stats. Daniels
Second,
went 28
third,
for 40.
huh?
Daniels went 28 for 40 with 359 yards and 3 touchdowns.
28 for 40.
And
That's pretty good.
a pick, 6.
And
Oh.
a pick 6 to lose.
Well, it was already over. Whether he picked it off or not, it was over. That was
What about the other guy?
the other Daniels, Jalen Daniels. He had 3 touchdowns and
Yeah. Hold on. They don't get his one there.
Is it too early to say the W's done for the season? Is it too early to write them off?
yeah, I think 10 games left. Offensively, they're moving the football. In both games, I think they were relatively successful.
So do you think the defense was
No, I think Duke's got
tactical
the-
mistakes?
No, they just could. I don't think they
Or
could
that
tackle.
just couldn't tackle?
I think they just couldn't.
Well,
tackle.
then how are you going to get better at that?
You better get. I think I heard Dave Wanstead say one time at halftime when West Virginia was running all over him. That's when I said, "We got to get faster." I don't know if you can do that at halftime, but I don't know if we can get better at tackling. Obviously, they can get better at tackling.
West
They
Virginia
gotta
had
get
more
better at
total
tackling.
yards than Kansas.
Yeah, but
501 to 419.
I think Kansas. It was 14-0 at the end of the first.
Hmm.
So from there on, Kansas laid 55 points on in the last 3 quarters and overtime. So, yeah. And that one, the last one was a cheap one, a pick 6. If he picks it off, all he's got to do is go down. The game's over.
It's over.
But it's sort of a cheap touchdown there.
But
it
it's
is.
still a touchdown.
But the play in that, to me, the play in that was the roughing the passer. It's 3rd and 5, and incomplete pass. Roughing the passer flag gives them a first down. They score a touchdown, and they would be kicking a field goal right there.
And they'll call roughing
That
the passer
changes
for
things.
anything.
That changes the play. Now you kick a field goal right there. Now
you got to make them play.
Yeah, everything else changes offensively. You're not worried about whether on your whole play call changes. I think that was if not the biggest play, that was a really big play to that ball game right there.
What about Neil Brown?
I think Neil's there for the rest of the year. Whether I like him or I don't like
The
him.
guy at Nebraska got fired.
West Virginia's not going to fire him midstream. One, I don't know that we have the money that they have. You know, it's there probably,
Yeah.
but it's to buy him.
Ah.
We just signed him to an extension.
And I know you said
off-season.
that if you bought him out, you got to buy the rest
Well,
of his
the
coaching
assistants are
staff.
going to be leaving too with him,
Yeah.
so they're going. I think it's the price tag's pretty big. So I don't think West Virginia buys him out. I think he has this year to get it right. And if it's not right this year, then he's gone.
Well, on the other hand, Marshall.
What can you say about the Herd, man? They were better.
From the start.
I think Marshall had like well over 200 yards rushing. That's not a fluke.
No.
It may be a fluke.
But
if-
what's crazy is Ali, who was, I'm pretty sure it's Ali, make sure it's Ali, Scotty, was their leading rusher last year, and he didn't play.
Yeah, he's the one that's
Hurt.
is he hurt or is he? Who took the
They told
leave
me
of absence?
it was a leave of absence, but what I was told is he hurt his knee.
Okay.
But I saw him in a video today on the field, I think.
Okay. No, but they were.
So that's without their leading rusher.
Yeah, and well, now the guy that did was a transfer from South Carolina, I think.
Oh, and he got
yeah,
right.
Yeah, he did.
He
ran
put the
it
one
well,
guy
but-
on the ground.
But when you rush for over 200 yards, then up front you were better. You were better. And ordinarily, you know, a Power 5 school, technically, you know, Notre Dame is
The one
the
supposed to
pinnacle.
be- yeah, you
you
got
know,
an
but-
NBC contract.
Yeah. You don't get manhandled up front by
That's usually
a
like
Sun
the
Belt
biggest.
Conference team.
That right there is usually the biggest difference.
Yeah, Sun Belt Conference team just takes you by the throat and manhandles you. That to me is not a fluke.
And it's not just that.
So maybe-
defensively,
So is Marshall that good or is Notre Dame that bad?
I think Notre Dame every year is the most hyped team.
They
in
are.
the
They're,
whole
they're the
NCAA.
they're the most overrated team I think
They-
all the time.
Scotty's giving me a crazy look. Why? What have they won? Nothing. When's the last time they've won anything?
I don't know.
A bowl game. Give me a major bowl game that they won.
Scotty.
A last major bowl that, and I don't want to take anything away from Marshall, but let's be real. Like,
No, Marshall wins bowl games,
they win bowl games.
but now they haven't been in a major bowl. But
No.
Well, they won the Fiesta Bowl in '88.
88.
And
That's the last
That's the
win.
last one?
That's
Is that their last
the
one?
last time they won the Fiesta Bowl. It says 1989 Fiesta Bowl 32.
That's not the
to
last
20.
one. That can't be
What's
the
that?
last one.
Oh.
They've won a bowl game since then.
Have they?
Can't be. I did Notre Dame bowl games. Notre Dame bowl
Just type
games.
in Notre
In
Dame.
'93 they won one.
Oh, okay, we're moving forward in the time.
I'd say they won one in the 2000s.
They've had to. Did Brady Quinn win one?
I don't remember.
That was.
I don't remember.
But regardless, even defensively, like Marshall looked so
Yeah.
much better. They had 3 picks. Now the last one was the backup quarterback came in for Notre Dame,
Yeah,
and
he-
just his first pass just turns into.
I think that
one
guy
by
threw
two.
3 passes. I think he threw 3
But
passes.
his first pass was a
intercept
pick.
for 6.
No,
It was a pick for 6.
no.
He didn't
I think
return
the
that?
other. I think the other guy threw the pick. Threw the pick
Okay.
6.
All right.
I think the starter. You
On
still
the
don't have
play,
a
on
read
the
on
play
it?
he got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
0-9
But,
the last ones.
but Marshall was better. I thought Marshall was better that
Did
ball
you-
game.
Their quarterback has the highest completion percentage in the country right now, 85%.
He was 16 for 21 in that ball game.
Maybe Marshall's the real deal.
45.
Is Marshall the real deal?
Is the Sun Belt the real deal?
They got to be. They beat
You got 3 teams won this week over Power 5 schools.
and
Got Scott Frost fired because of that loss.
at Nebraska.
Yeah.
Who was that to beat Nebraska?
Georgia Southern?
Was that who it was? Scotty.
Georgia Southern?
Yeah, Henry Columbia does have the highest.
I told you,
I think
Columbia has the highest.
I think Georgia Southern.
85%. Was it Georgia Southern that beat?
It was.
It was Georgia Southern. So Georgia Southern beat Nebraska. Where was that at? That had to be at Nebraska.
Oh, yeah, the
They're
Nebraska's not
going-
coming to Georgia Southern.
App State's the only one people go.
Yeah, and that was
But App State beat A&M.
A&M, and had North Carolina the week before scored 40-some points. Maybe was it the fourth quarter or the second half?
No,
Fourth
it
quarter?
was. It was the fourth quarter.
Yeah, 40-something in the fourth quarter. But they should, they're for real. So is the
Sun Belt.
Sun Belt
A
legit?
Power 5
Is it
conference?
legit?
Should be.
Is
It might
legit?
be. I tell you what.
We'll see. Marshall traditionally has played Power 5 schools pretty well,
But that's a difference,
But
though.
then they seem to hit that hump and struggle sometimes with
But that was at the end of. Oh, you're talking about
like
struggle with conference.
a few years ago they had Virginia Tech on the ropes at Tech, and
When I was there, we beat Purdue.
right, and they
At
came to
Marshall.
Marshall.
Yeah, they came to Marshall.
But traditionally they show up for that game, and then they have trouble keeping that
Level that.
the rest of the way. And maybe that's just sheer numbers of skilled players. Whereas a Power 5 team may be able to
Hold
roll
that
out 80 guys. Maybe Marshall don't roll out that many guys. And
Marshall's got like
as
a 40 or.
as the season goes, attrition takes its toll. But either way, they look really good.
Yes, they did.
And to go to Notre Dame and get a win at Notre Dame
That's legendary.
and make 1.2 million while you're at it. That's a nice payday. Making 1.2 million.
To get the most legendary win.
That'll
Maybe
pay for your flight out there and a couple of meals.
just a couple. That'll pay for a couple other programs at
Yeah,
Marshall. A couple other sports programs at Marshall.
I'm sure the football team's keeping all of those dollars if they can.
So is Huff the real deal?
I don't think Huff will stay there very long.
No,
2
we
years.
knew that.
Yeah.
I think everybody knew that going in.
Yeah, I think he's obviously got him going in the right direction. And that's the bad thing about Marshall. That's the only bad
The
thing about
stepping stone.
it. It is. And in particular football. What we've seen in basketball,
Donnie Jones.
Donnie Jones leaves and goes to Central Florida. Coming in behind him.
Before him.
Was it? Well, yeah, okay, he was before him.
No. Before him was
Yeah, Florida, then Billy Donovan.
Billy Donovan.
Yeah, so yeah, and you can't blame those guys.
What you if
to
you
go
want
from Marshall to
I
Florida,
agree.
to Marshall, to Central Florida was more of a but it was a better paying gig
Yeah.
for Donnie Jones, but it was almost a
lateral
lateral move, but financially it's a better move.
But what you got to do at Marshall is get somebody like Dan Tony who
Likes
is at
it,
the end
wants it.
and wants to be there. Like
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
ties to Marshall and
Pruitt.
Yeah, Bobby
was,
Pruitt.
he was happy where he was at.
what's it?
Donovan.
Doc. No, but Doc. So I feel like at the end of Doc's career, like his last couple years, it started to take that
Then
little
we got a little stagnant.
yeah. And then when Huff got back, the day Huff got on campus, you could feel like a whole energy
Maybe I
shift.
wasn't on campus, but I'm gonna tell you, Doc routinely won 8, 9, 10 ball games.
Yes, he did.
And that's hard to replace a guy like that.
Yes, he did.
When you're talking about a school that's not a Power 5 school, the guy comes in and wins. Averages probably was average 9
He
or
was
10
probably
wins.
average like that.
You know, but did they win the conference many times? I don't
No.
know that they did, and that's why.
I think they won it. I think
Once or twice, probably.
Scotty, how many times did Doc win the conference? But I just feel like Doc is shooting. My thought on that was Doc was shooting for whatever bowl. We just want to get in the bowl and we want to win it.
and probably,
I feel like Huff wants to jump up, so he's going to try and make statements, and I feel like he's really trying to push for like a bigger bowl.
he probably is.
Doc Holliday
And
has a 750 win percentage.
Doc Holliday did. That's pretty
How many
good.
bowls?
I'm looking.
But he was successful in the bowls. Doc won, but I think Huff can take it to a different level. But Marshall can only probably go to a certain point.
He was
Even if
fixing-
they,
At 3 years ago, he was 6-2 in bowl games.
even if they win and win out and are undefeated,
They're not going.
they're
to
going to be
playoff.
left out.
Yes.
It's like Central Florida was 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, when they declared themselves national champs.
If you're undefeated and you beat Notre Dame and you go undefeated the whole year, you don't have a chance.
I think Central Florida was in the same boat. They beat a Power 5 and really went to some. See what that's? They went to somebody and beat somebody. I think they beat a Power 5, maybe even out of the SEC or ACC. Into that, and got left out. So they declared themselves national champs because they won their bowl.
Yeah, I remember that. But I think we all knew that. Everybody knew that Huff was just coming to make a stepping stone.
That's all. Most of them are looking for that, but you just got to enjoy it if it rides out while it is, and then hope that you get a new guy that's the same kind of a caliber guy.
All right, let's.
They beat Cincinnati.
Okay, and Cincinnati was, there was somebody else on that.
Well, they beat Cincinnati, East Carolina, Navy, SMU, Connecticut, UConn, South Florida, Memphis, Auburn.
Auburn.
Mm.
And was Auburn in the hunt
Pitt.
that year? Auburn may have been in the, Auburn might have been in the SEC championship. Houston, but they're in the conference there.
All right, we got to move on.
Okay,
we got to
moving on.
to the NFL.
My Browns.
We're all Browns fans. Everybody in this house. I don't know about
My
Pete.
Browns.
Pete, who you like?
I'm a Ravens fan.
He's a,
Oh, well, he is a rival. He's a rival.
We
Probably
might
have
have
to
to
get
kick
him
Pete
on
out.
Yeah, he's a rival. Our Browns.
So, we'll start with them. The kicker looked good.
4 for 4 justified his
Yes, he did.
place in the draft. I think everybody made fun of the Browns when they drafted
Drafted him
kicker,
high, yeah.
like a 4th round or something.
And look at the NFL now.
He 4 field goals in that ball game, plus a 59-yarder that
For the win.
could have went 69 yards
Oh.
to win it, right down the hatch. So yeah, that's the Browns, and really.
That's not the kind of plays we usually make.
No, we usually fumble right before we get there, and the other team runs it back for a
Bad
touchdown.
snap.
Yeah, or something over his head, or something. Somebody runs it back the other way.
He's the
But
highest drafted kicker since Sebastian Janikowski.
well, Janikowski was a great one.
Yeah. But look, if you look
He earned it.
at all the kicking mishaps that happened this past week,
My goodness.
we look like
The
geniuses now.
Steelers and the
That was one of the craziest games I've ever seen.
It
in
did
my life.
wouldn't end. Nobody wanted to win it.
I tell you what though, that game had one of the craziest catches I've ever seen. When the kid from Johnson from the Steelers
Oh yeah, well,
reached
yeah.
back,
Caught it.
bam, and caught it and toe
Kicked
tapped.
his toes in.
That was one of the
awesome.
more impressive.
But the
catches.
Browns took off like they were going to win a ball game.
Yes, they did.
Going to run away with it. Baker looked bad. You're not a Baker fan. I've always
he
been a
looked
Baker. I've always been a Baker fan. I thought last year he was bad because he was hurt.
But
2 games in, he should have been on the IR. Yes, he should have been on the
listen,
IR.
but that's not what I'm saying. Baker is bad to me because not anything to do with his arm or his talent, but his mind. He thinks that he's got to try and squeeze a ball in between 3 defenders every
Now,
single possession.
I'm not going to compare him to Brett Favre, but Brett Favre was the same way.
I know.
Brett Favre,
And like you said, you can't compare
you
the two.
can't. But
you're trying to do
winning
it right
wise,
now.
early in his career, I bet you could put Baker's numbers, not last year, but
His
before
second
that. Before
Okay,
that, I
then.
bet you Baker's numbers were really good and would stack up with most people. Not this past season. Played hurt. I think that's the Browns' fault.
Okay,
He got hurt in
that-
game 2 or 3. They should have put him on the bench. Not the bench. They should have put him on the IR and let him get better. That's not his fault. That's the Browns' fault. And go with Case Keenum's. He's a good backup. He's not going to lose ball games.
No, he's not.
They may
gonna
not
lose.
win,
And
but they're going to lose them.
I think last season, I think Case Keenum would have led
would-
us to a better record.
He would have been better. He wasn't. He was better than a hurt Baker.
Then if Case Keenum is going to lead us, well, okay, you're saying he's hurt, but I'm saying hurt or not hurt, he tries to do too much stupid
Always
stuff.
did. But if you look at what he did, I'm telling you, Scotty, get some stats for us here. I'll bet you if you compare Baker's, how many seasons was he with Cleveland before he got hurt? Was it 3?
3 and then last
Okay.
year was
So his rookie and his second year, I'll bet you those 2 years are really stack up well with
He
most.
averaged about 250 a game.
Okay, then here's what we'll do. We'll see how the rest of this season plays
Wait,
out,
wait, wait.
and I don't
Hey,
want any more
27
excuses.
touchdowns, 14 interceptions.
2-1. That's
yeah,
pretty good.
that's pretty
That's
good.
not bad.
What year was that?
That was his second year.
Yeah, no, he was really good that year. Led us to a playoff win.
Right, first
I
ever
can't-
in for your lifetime.
Yeah.
But so then he gets hurt second game, and they play him continually. He don't have the arm strength. He don't have the same whip on it. I think it was early to pull his
I
trigger
just thought that Baker was like a quarterback that could rise us out of where we were, but I don't think he was the guy that can put us to where we want to be.
I was afraid Baker was going to come back and win a ball game on us at the end of
I
that
was
game.
too.
And you really, if we don't have a guy kick a 69-yard field goal, he does beat us.
Yes, he does.
Because for some reason,
We go prevent.
we go prevent, and the defensive backs don't want to be the guy to give up the long ball, so they're letting you catch it in front of you and go down the field. Goes down, and with a minute and a half, 2 minutes, kick a field goal to win it or to go ahead. And then fortunately, you know, I don't know if we got away with a spike, non-spike, fake spike, whatever that was.
But it happened.
But it happened. It's the first time we ever got a call in any setting like that. But
We'll take it.
we got it, and then
All right.
tried it out there. I told Scotty the game's over. We just got beat. Trot got to do is kicking 59-yard field goals in the game. What's that, man? We're not going to get that.
But those are getting more normal.
They are guys. Guys are
booting
getting better
the ball.
legs. If you go
What's
to
his
that
name?
Bengals game.
Justin Tucker made a 66, didn't he?
Yeah, he does them routinely. He's
Incredible.
the best.
All right, Bengals and Steelers. We touched on it a little bit.
You know,
Kicking. They should have drafted the kicker.
I know people are hollering at Burrow about.
I'm
Burrow.
hollering at Burrow.
All right. First quarter was really bad.
Bad.
4 turnovers out of 6 possessions. First quarter, 3 interceptions and a fumble, 2 field goals.
That wasn't the first half. That was all.
That's first quarter.
It was bad. That was one of the worst quarters I've ever heard.
But still yet, as bad as that was, Burrow put them in a position to win the ball game. Touchdown, no time on the clock, extra point to win. You got to make that. That's got to be done.
no, that's got to be done. But
You don't do your job on the
if Burrow does his job early, they aren't in that position.
surgery in the off season. Hadn't practiced a great deal.
So hold on.
Hadn't got with it a whole lot.
You're gonna tell me that the guy who the entire franchise relies on
Wasn't seeing the field well. He wasn't
He
seeing the field.
wasn't. That's what it's on him.
It was. It was.
So the game-
but he still had them. All you got to do is kick a field goal, extra point.
I understand.
And the
that.
game's over. And there's
But
no
who do you pay the money to?
There's no guarantee that there's no guarantee that they score on those possessions.
How
anyway.
much is the kicker paid?
I don't know. what
Maybe
he's
$1
paid.
million.
I don't know what he's paid.
How much is Joe Burrow paid?
Yeah, he's their franchise.
So he has to be the
And
one.
he did.
that doesn't.
At the end of the ball game, put him in the end zone, tie score, no time on the clock. You should be packing your stuff and going to the next game.
You should be, but you shouldn't be in that position
So
anyway.
it's the kicker. Well, not even him. It's whoever was on that left side that didn't block somebody. Guy coming.
Yeah, because he blocked.
Was it? Michael,
But it was also look what I've heard.
Fitzpatrick, who come around the end and block that.
Also, what I've heard from a lot of Bengals fans is that the last snap was off a little bit because their long snapper tore his bicep.
Well,
in the middle.
that's why they missed the field goal in the overtime with a high snap.
Mm-hmm.
Rushes to get it down. Kicker kicks it wide left, hooks it really. So missed a field goal, missed an extra point to win it, missed a field goal to win it, and then the fumble that P. Ryan picked up, that they were almost in field goal range.
Joe's got to show me. He's got to.
He did last year. He did
1
all
year.
this.
We see what happens to
This
people.
is game 1.
Baker. Look what happened to Baker
Joe Burrow led him to a Super Bowl.
last year. Oh my gosh.
This is game 1.
I'm not sold.
And if you take that first quarter,
I
out
don't
of the thing,
think that he is going to sustain that. I don't know. He might.
I think he is.
might.
I think he is.
He
I
might.
think he's real.
I just don't like the Bengals,
I think he's real.
so I don't want him to win.
I don't like them either. I'm a Browns fan. I don't like the Bengals. Don't like the Ravens. Don't like the Steelers.
Yeah, I don't like the Ravens either.
I tell you what though, I do like their head coach, Steelers head coach. I'm a fan of his.
I like Lamar.
I'm a fan.
I think Lamar's one of the most
I'm a
talented dudes in
fan
the
of
league.
him, especially when his stance on this national anthem. We're going to stand. We're going to hide. We're going to cry. We're going to run. We're going to run in the locker room. If you can't stand for a 2-minute song, you're not on this team. I'm with him. I like that. I almost
Take a
switched.
stand in, Big Steve.
I almost switched. I almost said, "Where's my Steelers stuff at?" I put my Steelers stuff on.
Oh,
I was close.
Whoa, I thought we were talking about the Ravens.
No.
Oh, you're talking about, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So,
All right. Broncos in Seattle.
yeah, my man Gino.
Gino was hurt. Gino was
He looked like he had Tavon Austin and who was the other one out there?
Stedman
Bailey throwing the ball, running the ball. They looked like they looked
You seen him go and not sliding.
comfortable
Put his
back
shoulder
there.
down?
Looked like he'd been running that offense forever.
He had his
Second half,
chance.
he backed off a little bit. Second half, but I think
They
started
probably got a little bit more adjusted.
and
to
they
him
started
in
running the ball a
second
bit more. But then again, it comes down to a field goal guy.
half. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. We look like
That-
geniuses
that is a-
drafting the field goal kicker.
That is a mistake on. I even put that somewhat on Russell. I know he's the head coach, but he's the guy that went there because he wanted that.
Yeah.
He wanted that role. $245 million 165 guaranteed, and you're gonna put the ball, a kick of 50, was it 59? 60.
I think it was.
They were on the 46. So 47, on the 46 or 47. What was that field goal? Look at that field goal.
Pull it up.
That's
We're
got
not
to be a
good at
64,
math.
64
We're from
yarder.
Mudford.
A 64 yarder.
64 yards.
Eagle kick a 64 yarder.
That's not-
No, and you got a
But you
guy.
got
that's
Russell
making-
Wilson.
That's making 245 million
And
on the 4th and 5. Huh?
And he's a dual threat guy. You can do anything with him, so they can't really guess.
To me, Russell should have. They should have ran off 25 seconds first of all and called
Did you see
timeout.
Peyton Manning?
Yeah, they should have called timeout, and they should have went over and said, "Let's talk about this." I'm not going to say anything, but I'm Russell Wilson.
Yeah. Put the ball in my hands.
Let me try to win this rather than let's kick a 64 yarder to win this.
That's a prayer.
Yeah, that's.
But like we say, guys are booting them these days.
He had the distance, but still, I'm sure.
Low percentage.
I'm sure from 65 yards out, those goalposts look
That's
like
got
they're
to
about
be.
a foot wide.
A 65-yard field goal has to be like a half quarter. Has to be like making a half quarter
Way
jump.
harder than that.
I'd say that's.
No.
I'd say that's about right.
Not for a professional.
Okay, but then you got guys
Yeah,
specializing.
probably a little more successful than a half quarter. The
A
rim
couple
is so
steps
small.
in.
Yeah, you're taking a shot at it. You're not like heaving one, from a hook shot from out there. But it should have came. Russell should have said, "It's
Give me the ball."
it's 5 yards. I got a better chance to pick up 5 yards than we got making. The percentage has to be higher for him to make that 5 yard gain rather than make a 64 or 65 yard gain.
Give me the ball.
Has
That's
to
what he
be.
should have said.
Should have said that. And then the head coach should have known that. Why did we sign this guy? We signed. Why are we giving him $245 million?
That probably was an offensive coordinator job.
It may have been, but still, it should have been the head coach and Russell
It's
Wilson.
got to go through two people though.
Russell,
doesn't
Russell
it? And
Wilson
that,
should
one
have
of
said.
them people should have vetoed it.
He should have said, "Hold up. This is my team. I'm coming here. I got a better chance to make this." But I'm glad. I was happy for Gino. I wanted
I
Gino
was
to win
too.
that thing, and I thought when he kicked, I said, "He's going to make that. That's got the leg," and it just scooted out. But those guys are kicking
I think
everything.
that I think the story for that game was Gino.
He was.
He was
I
throwing it around.
liked what he said afterwards. You hear that when they asked him all
They're
these
talking
guys
about yeah.
wrote me off. I ain't writing back.
I ain't right back. Yeah.
I ain't writing back. He said, wrote me off. I ain't writing back.
Gino got his chance, and he secured it. They were chanting for Gino.
Oh, every time I did anything good, it was Gino. Yeah, I loved it.
Gino will be he'll be loved in Seattle from now on.
He will be. I think it reminds me of, I think you might have went to the ball game at Marshall. When Marshall was leading the whole way, was Gino quarterback?
W, yeah.
Gino was quarterback in that
At
ball
Marshall.
game.
Yeah,
at
I was
Marshall.
there.
And late in the
back
ball
in.
game, came with a big long pass down there. But no, I thought Gino was really good in that ball game. And
He looked like old Gino.
he looked like
comfortable
he
old
looked
Gino.
like
He was getting some time too.
nothing like he was at when he was at the Jets. He didn't look like he was in that. But now who
No.
does at the Jets?
Nobody. Or the
The
Giants.
Jets have never looked like. What is with them,
Or the
man?
Giants.
I wonder if you can go through the list of quarterbacks the Jets have had.
Well, if we're going through anybody's list of quarterbacks, we might as well go through ours.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah,
I was one-
I go back to the Brian Sipe days, and we were really good with Sipe. And then he had missed. Then we had Testaverde.
Oh,
Testaverde was a good one, but then it got bad when
Tim Couch.
when the Browns snuck off in the middle of the night and moved to Baltimore. They come out and the trucks are out there loading up, and next thing you know, we got a Raven over here, and they take him to Baltimore in the middle of the night. They packed up and gone.
What year was that?
Scotty, that had to be. They got their new team back in probably maybe like 95, maybe 94, 95 was their first year back. We were in Pensacola,
They went during the 95 season.
so they left the 95 season. Okay.
They left to where?
Okay, so then that's when they went to Baltimore.
How long were they in Baltimore?
They're in Baltimore.
Who are you?
They're the Ravens now.
Yeah, I know. I thought
so-
we were talking about the Browns.
We are. So now the Browns.
When did the Browns come?
So they got a team. They sued to keep the name.
Confused.
They
Oh.
sued to keep the name Browns.
Oh.
And so we got back. It was 2 years later, maybe 3 years later. They came back as the Cleveland Browns, and all that. It was Tim Couch. Maybe was the guy they drafted, and
That was
it
bad.
was bad. Brady Quinn.
Deshaun Kaiser.
Yeah, who was that? It's a roll.
Hold on,
Is
hold
it
on.
a roll, or
Hold
is
on.
it Kaiser?
What?
We need somebody.
Kaiser Sose.
Yeah, or somebody in Germany. The Kaiser.
You want to talk about a guy with spunk? Johnny Football's got spunk.
What's he doing now?
I don't know. His dad was rich. his dad had. I think he was very, very wealthy. So I think Johnny Football is
I'm
probably
sure he made enough money while he was
gallivanting
there. I mean,
the world.
he was drafted really, really high. What was he a draft?
I don't think he played.
Was he Heisman Trophy winner?
Yeah,
Heisman. So
I think so. That's a Mr. Researcher.
I'm sure he made a lot of money.
Yeah, but I'm saying regardless, he could have just spent it all.
Yeah.
I think he had a lot. I think he had oil field money.
He was
or
into having fun.
oil money.
He was having fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's probably having a great time somewhere.
So let's go to the Wildcats.
22nd.
What's that?
22nd.
That was his draft pick.
Huh.
I
Okay.
thought it'd be higher than that.
The Logan football Wildcats are off to a 3-0 start for the first time in a long time.
When was the last time?
I think when I was there, maybe Worm was it?
No, I think last year they were 3-0, weren't they?
Were they 3-0
I
last
think
year?
so. Yep.
And then they went to. Let's see. They made.
Yeah, I heard Coach Mullins talking in the huddle yesterday about 3-0 is one thing, but 4-0 is a different.
Yeah, they gotta have 4-0 because after 4-0, that schedule gets better.
It gets tough.
It gets a lot harder. You know, Polka traditionally is pretty good.
They're not
right
good
now,
this
they're not playing real well right now. And they've lost a lot of kids and they're young. So you got the Generals, which you go to
Winfield.
week 5.
Winfield.
The Generals, Winfield Generals
Winfield Generals.
on week 5.
That's gonna be a tough one.
That is.
That's gonna be the test.
And you got Chapmanville Scott. You got Hoover left in that.
And the people are saying that Scott's good.
Liberty Raleigh went there last year. Should have beat Liberty Raleigh. We're better than them last year. Went over there and got beat. Got to go again this year. So again, you know that's a game that got to be, and it's a challenge that Gary's going to have. How do I keep them at this level
For the whole year.
for the rest of the year? You know.
It all depends on the line.
And right now they've played really well. I don't
They're
know if
getting
they've given up
great
any sacks. Maybe
6
six the whole year.
whole year.
Okay, so that's two
Two
a
a
game.
game.
And that's still pretty good, especially as much as
Kobe's
world
running
basketball.
it.
They only had the
That's
one.
it, yeah.
We only had the one game where we really ran heavy. That was man. Everything else has been balanced or
Yeah,
heavy
yeah.
on the passing attack. But
And that's what we're used to.
you know, the first game was 26 carries, and I get it. You know, he's running the ball and we're melting the clock and they can't tackle.
But it's smoothed out
Yeah,
since
it
then.
has, and I think that offensively and defensively, up front they played really, really well. You know, how many points have we given up defensively? Man was not a defensive touchdown.
No.
it was an interception.
Sissonville scored 1 in the when
Okay,
when
JV was in.
Yeah, when the
but
JV
still,
was in.
that's one.
One.
You got to count that.
And then
Wayne.
one.
So
The first possession against Wayne. The score was they only had 7, right?
Wayne had
31-7.
So you give up 2 scores.
2 touchdowns the whole year.
Yeah, that's really good football. That's defensively.
They got some swarmers out there though.
They do tackle. You know, Bryce Davis
Leads
leads
the
the state
state.
in tackles.
45. 3 games.
Shelton's
That's
fourth.
15 a game.
That's 15 a game. How many does Shelton have?
Shelton's 4th.
And the state in tackles, what's he averaging?
They said today he has 36.
That's a good amount of tackles.
That's
That's
13, that's
over
11 a
10.
game, 12 a game.
yeah,
But yeah, that's good. You talk about the kicking game. Never have we ever had
a kicking game.
a real
I can really
real
remember.
bona fide kicking game. And this year, you know, Aiden, I don't know that he's missed
He hasn't missed one.
a PAT or a
He
field goal.
made a 37-yard field goal the
Yeah,
other night.
and so that's something that you can count on as the season goes when you need points and you don't have to go, all right, we got to come up with some points, and it may be 4th and 10, and instead of having to go for it, you're in field goal range and you get points.
Yeah,
and
and that's a whole, like you said, that's a whole dynamic we haven't had.
It is.
And that's something that, honestly, if he wanted to, I think he could go to college to do that.
He probably
And
can.
once he gets in college and actually
he-
do we have an instructor around here that's really teaching kicking techniques
we
like that?
We don't have it.
You get
There's no
to
summer.
somebody in college like that, and he really learns all the
I
technicalities.
think
he
Aiden
could
can.
do it well.
I think he can, but I also think Aiden is versatile enough.
He is for sure.
Explosive, both sides of the ball. Get him the
I
ball
don't
and
think
do
that
it.
there's a better life, sports-wise, than an NFL kicker.
Yeah. Oh, great for an NFL kicker. Yeah. Except if you miss.
Except
If you
now, there's a lot
miss-
of pressure on that. A punter,
You-
okay, a punter.
You miss and you're in trouble with that. But yeah, I knew coming in we were going to be skill position really good. I knew that, you know, wideout we're going to be able to go Aiden, Garrett, then Julius, and Drew coming over here. That's four guys.
And usually you don't.
It's four guys you
don't
can
have-
throw the football to.
And-
then Connor, I think Connor has done a good job out of the
Yeah.
backfield. Primarily, he was a blocking back, but what I've seen of him run the ball so far this year, he's been
Yeah.
effective. I think.
And I
that's-
think it's helped when they put him in the backfield to block.
yeah, he's a good blocking
He's
back.
a really good blocker, and that gives Coker a little bit of time.
And you know he can at that time when you think he's a guy you can just hand it off to or dump it down to, and he can get you
He
positive
can
yards.
he can get you a couple.
Yeah. So this week, I'm excited about it, but I'm looking for week 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I think we got a bye in week 11.
Pull up the schedule, Scotty.
I think we have a bye. Week 9 or week 10's a bye, and then we play on that week.
How many games are we going to have to win to make the playoffs?
Seven or eight.
Seven.
You think 7?
6 would be probably you're struggling to get 6. You see if you got enough points. It's got to work out for you, but you're going to get killed. You're going to be 16, and you're going to go to 1. You want to win 8. 8 gets you
8 puts you in the
in that middle of the pack. Where you're going to get 8.
We got Winfield, Nitro, Scott, Liberty Raleigh, Chattanville, and Herbert Hoover.
And it's a bye between Chapmanville and Herbert Hoover.
I tell you, Herbert Hoover. I believe they messed up scheduling 9 games.
Oh, it's going to hurt. They got 2 losses. They almost have to win out for them to get it. But with Logan getting in there, at 8 puts them in the top 10 easily, comfortably, probably somewhere around 5, 6, or 7, maybe even higher than that. And that gives you a winnable ball game there. And then once you win that one, the next thing is it's anybody's ball game as it creeps down there. But if you're a team that squeaks in there and you're number 16,
You go and get thumped on.
and you got to go play Independence, or like last year we go to Hoover and we play at Hoover. And
I tell you what I like
yes.
about this team, especially, is Coker is like he's probably our best. He is our best runner.
Right
Him
now.
and Slack.
Yeah.
But
Right.
when it gets cold, you got to be able to run the ball.
Yeah.
It's harder to catch. It's harder to throw.
Well, gloves. It's harder to throw. Gloves nowadays, man. You can.
I don't care what you say.
Back in my day, we just had mud. We put mud on there and let it dry, and you go.
No, they had
leather
stick 'em.
helmets.
Y'all had stick 'em.
We had leather helmets and one bar across there looked like Charlie Brown.
The one bar.
Yeah.
Well, what else you got?
That's it. That's all I got.
All right. Well, so they play Friday,
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock on the island.
On the island.
Willis Nesbitt. Well, that'll do it for this week. Hope all y'all come back and I don't like that one either.
Okay.
You close it out. I opened it.
No, I'm not. It's your show.
mean?
It's your show. It's my son's TV show.
All right, let's see. Well, all right, that does it for us. I don't know what
That's
to say.
it. That does it for us this week. We'll see you next week. Come and support the Cats on Friday night.
That's it right there.
That's actually.